Well, hey everybody, I hope you're having a very Merry Christmas Eve and that you're able to spend some time with friends, family, and anyone else that you may hold close to you. I wanted to tune in this evening and share with you my favorite album to listen to every Christmas Eve, ever since I can remember. This is The Fading Giant, Sounds of Steam Railroading, Volume 2, and it was copyrighted by a fellow named O. Winston Link way back in 1958. So anyone who doesn't know who O. Winston Link might have been, he was actually a photographer from New York City who spent much of the late 1950s down in the southern part of the country photographing the final days of steam locomotives running on America's railroads. 1958 was the final year for steam throughout most of the country, and the Norfolk and Western, which was his favorite, was by far no exception, unfortunately. So Mr. Link's favorite line was undoubtedly the Abingdon branch, which is pictured here on the cover of the album. This is train number 382, pulling the Virginia Creeper. That name may sound familiar to some of you guys out there because it is now a rail trail that runs between Abingdon, Virginia and White Top, Virginia. Unfortunately, much of it was destroyed last year with the floodwaters of Hurricane Helene, but they are in the process of rebuilding, and they say it should be completely open by next year. So looking forward to getting down there and taking the bike out on that path. But anyway, I digress a little bit. So, Mr. Link spent a lot of time photographing and recording sounds of steam trains down in Virginia. And it was a really big passion of his. So, why is this my favorite Christmas album? It's just train recordings. Yeah, well, on side B, the final take of the album, it's actually a recording that was taken on Christmas Eve. And if you'll bear with me here, I'll read you the description. So it says, it is 9:39 p.m. on Christmas Eve of 1957 in Rural Retreat, Virginia, a farming community near the highest point on the Norfolk and Western's line between Bristol and Radford. Mrs. J.E. Dodson plays carols on the Lutheran church chimes, and far to the southwest comes the distinctive whistle of a Class J locomotive, number 603, powering train number 42, the Pelican, eastbound from New Orleans, Louisiana, to Washington, D.C. Old heads in southwestern Virginia still call train 42 the Vestibule, which dates it to sometime in the 1890s when it was the region's first train with all enclosed vestibule platforms on its coaches. Silent night floats over the village as the rumble of the train grows. Another whistle and a warning bell on the automatic crossing gate begins its clangor. The bell ceases as train 42 blows and comes in with a rush, its 17 cars rumbling across the highway to a quick flag stop at the wooden station. It pauses with a final squeal, but almost immediately moves again, the 603 very sure in its rhythm. There is another whistle from the vestibule as it fills the night with power. The chimes continue above a far farewell salute. 7 nights later, the last steam engine ran over the Norfolk and Western's Bristol line. So that's why I consider this to be a very favorite Christmas album of mine. It's the last year that anyone who lived in a rural retreat would hear a steam locomotive pulling out of town on a Christmas Eve. And to a lot of people, the sound of a steam engine was a very, very romantic thing. And to me, it still is. I love the sound of trains. Those of you that know me know I work on them, and I've always held a very special place in my heart. So we'll take a listen to this album here. I'm going to try to include it in the same part of this video after I'm done rambling on. If it's become a little too long, I'm going to upload a part 2. But I'm going to try to get it up before 9:39 p.m. tonight so that you can tune in and listen and feel like you're stepping back in time exactly as he recorded this. So anyway, I hope you all have a very Merry Christmas, and we'll see you out there real soon. All right, now, take care. All right, so here we are at the old Crosby. Let's get it fired up and give her a minute to warm up. She's a little cantankerous sometimes, so gotta be patient with it. While it's warming up there for a second, here's that album cover again, The Fading Giant. And that's locomotive 382 with the Virginia Creeper, and it is just west of Alvarado, down in Virginia there. So if you're out on the trail, you had to try to remember this photograph. And if we look at the back here, there's the picture of the train that we're going to be listening to in the recording, coming into Rural Retreat, Virginia, Christmas Eve, 1957. And also as a side note, if you guys get down to Roanoke make sure you go to the O. Winston Link Museum. There's a whole museum there showcasing his life's work. Really cool to check out. All right, we're going to drop this needle on the recording titled Silent Night by O. Winston Link. And as it begins to play, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. And I just want to wish you guys a very Merry Christmas and be seeing y'all real soon.